10 feet tall. Run like you're bulletproof and total a car or two. Boy, you're gonna hate this town. Wish you could burn it down. That fire in your eyes is 20 counties wide. But boy, you're gonna love 17. And boy,
my life is like a video game, trying hard to beat the stage, all while I am still collecting coins. Trying hard to save the girl, obstacles, I'm jumping hurdles. I'm growing up to be a big boy. A battle with the evil ways, I travel far and try and say, sorry, but your princess isn't here. Take the rest, I push the pause level.
You change your passion for glory. Don't lose your grip on the dreams of the past. You must fight just to keep them alive. It's the deep eye of the tiger, it's the thrill of the fight, rising up to the challenge of our rival. And the last known survivor stalks his prey in the night, and he's watching us all with the eye of the tiger.
There's a voice that keeps on calling me. Down the road, it's where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on.
When the man comes around, hear the trumpets, hear the pipers, 100 million angels singing. Multitudes are marching to the big kettle drum. Voices calling, voices crying. Some are born and some are dying. It's Alpha and Omega's kingdom come.
yeah, I got upstate like a month ago. I was talking to fans and one of them pulled me aside and said we never met, but I swear that you know who I am. I've been through a lot. I don't know how to express it to people. Don't think that I can, but I got that Mantra ZD on rotation. That's real for me, Nate. You do not understand. It's crazy for me. Kids hit me up, say they slitting they wrists on the daily. This music is more than you think. Don't book me for just entertainment. It's entertaining. Hearing these parents, they telling their kids my music is violent. You gotta be kidding me. I guess they
got more dirt than mine. I got one thing to say. My town's smaller than your town, and I got a bigger bugging bass on my wall. I got a little more kick in my draw, y'all. I got a little more spit in my jaw. And my truck's louder than your truck, and my collar's a little more blue. You might think that you're redneck, but I'm rednecker than you.
Y yo sé que tal vez te siga usando a ti, robándote en mi inspiración, mientras siga viendo tu cara en la cara de la luna, mientras siga escuchando tu voz entre las olas, entre la espuma, mientras tenga que cambiar la radio de estación, porque cada canción me hable de ti, de ti, de ti.
Thinking of, you wouldn't get this from any other guy. I just wanna tell you how I'm feeling. Gotta make you understand. Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you, never gonna make you cry, never gonna say goodbye, never gonna tell a lie and hurt you.
Can you promise me one thing? Don't let me forget your hand in mine. Firefly drives every time I fell asleep, and you carried me inside. You kiss my head and said goodnight when we were sparks, just a start, a naive heart. Never felt that kind of fire that you and I were playing with. So don't let me forget. Don't let me forget.
Picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm still standing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm coming up, so you better get this party started. I'm coming up, so you better get this party started. Get this party started on a Saturday night. Everybody's waiting for me to arrive. Sending out the message to all of my friends. We'll be looking flashy in my Mercedes Benz. I got lots of style, check my gold diamond rings. I can go.
House so empty, need a centerpiece. 20 racks a table come from ebony. Cut that ivory into skinny pieces. Then she clean up with her face, but all of my baby. You talking money, need a hearing aid. You talking about me, I don't see a shade. Switch on my side, I take any lane. Switch on my core, I kill any pain. Look what you done.
'Cause I got friends in low places where the whiskey drowns and the beer chases my blues away. And I'll be okay. I'm not big on social graces. Think I'll slip on down to the oasis, so I've got a friend in love.
Cities and all these towns, it's in my blood and it's all around. I love you now like I loved you then. This is the road and these are the hands. From Mozambique to those Memphis nights, the copper past the Vancouver slides. And knock me down and back up again. You're in my blood, I'm not a lonely man. There's no road I can hold, a road so rough, this I know. I'll be there when the light comes in. Tell me we're survivors. Life is a highway, but I wanna ride it all night long.
For the rainy days, keep a good name, that's the way we were raised on. Them main streets, them track seats, we put some country miles on. Them Friday nights, wide open skies, back 40 getting wild on. Sweet by and by, I saw the light in a little white church way in the back. Grew up, grew up, grew up on that. Rich Skaggs on the vinyl, King James on the Bible, feet on the dash with the subs in the back. We grew up on that.
You know how the time flies. Only yesterday was the time of our lives. We were born and raised in a summer haze, bound by the surprise of our glory days.
I ain't trading my youth for no suit and jacket. So don't say I'm getting older, 'cause I say it when I do. 'Cause everybody I know
Okay, but now you both just touch.
That's the same.
Hello, graduates. Today clearly looks different than you anticipated months ago, but the end goal is still the same. You've graduated, and today is a day to celebrate you. I've only been in this school for a few years, but it contains many fond memories, from field trips to potlucks, and some not so fond memories like putting all of my chairs in my roof. You surely are a class to remember.
And we'll start by remembering Ben Bowes. Ben is one of the most independent learners I've ever met. And he was the embodiment of learning happens everywhere long before we switched over to distance learning. He completed half of his high school requirements while on job sites in Alberta and British Columbia.
Ariana has an incredible artistic talent. I appreciate all the little drawings you've given me over the years. And besides your artistic talent, you have a gift for finding shiny Pokemon. To the point that I'm convinced that you've somehow hacked the system because you have to be cheating. It's not possible.
She also has a gift for making me blush. Nolan ends. Most of us have no frame of reference for understanding the challenges that Nolan's overcome to arrive at this milestone. He's competitive by nature, which is why his showdown with his dad at this year's high school hockey tournament makes for such a poignant and bittersweet memory. I forget, Nolan, how many times did you score against your dad? But Nolan is a fighter.
Speaking of hockey and fighting, I would like to state for the record that Kelsey Epp, I have beat you in 2 hockey fights. Take that.
Boom. Owen Gabona. Owen is someone who enjoys participating in sports as much as anyone I know. Any court, any sport is his motto. I know he disappointed his dad when he abandoned the Leafs, but that's just common sense. I mean, it's just part of the process of growing up.
Zeta, you are one of the most extra people that I know, but I've really enjoyed getting to see you grow as a leader over the last years that we've played soccer together, even though you couldn't play this year.
Dylan Hepner. Dylan, I miss our morning chats about what's going on in the Marvel Universe, your ab-defining workout regimen that would make Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson jealous, the latest UFC drama. Sorry to hear that Conor McGregor's retiring again. And I will really miss not getting to hear you perform one more time at the talent show.
Evan Harms, thank you for working hard for 13 minutes every day, but thank you for fixing my car, and most of all, thank you for being the reason that I have to remind everyone that they cannot eat the science materials.
Brooke Jansen. Brooke, you've grown and matured so much since I met you in grade 9. You've continued to develop into a wonderful, godly young woman. You're a voracious reader who can speed talk through an entire plot summary of a book in 3 minutes. I feel like I've read some books vicariously just by listening to you. All the best.
Indigo, thank you for always contributing to the classroom environment via doodles on the board as well as Japanese words and phrases. You are a pleasure to have in the classroom.
Austin Martins. When classes were suspended, I witnessed a modern-day miracle. I saw firsthand a young man named Austin Martins complete 6 weeks of work in less than 6 days. Restored my faith in the power of prayer. And the critics also agreed that Austin's interpretation of Ed and the Lion King was of the highest caliber.
Star, you are a very hard worker and I appreciate your dedication right to the very end. I'm envious of how all your notebooks have always looked. They are absolutely amazing.
Janelle Peters. Janelle, you're a gifted artist, a skilled writer, and you have a hilariously subversive and self-deprecating sense of humor. You will be missed.
Kelly, we saw you become an efficient fundraiser, organizing cakewalk, haunted house, helping with bottle drives, and most of all, the dance. You are an incredibly dedicated yearbook worker.
Noah Peters, whenever I need a lesson in humility, I know that I can subject myself to a chess match with Noah Peters. He was an excellent and very patient teacher to a slow and dim-witted student. Noah, you're one of the most sincere, earnest, and hard-working people that I've had the pleasure to share a classroom with. You will be missed. All the best.
Connor, you have an absolutely incredible work ethic. And most importantly, if anyone has cow questions, Connor's your guy.
Caden Ratzliff. Nobody was happier than Caden the day that Premier Scott Moe announced that schools were closing on March 13th. I'm guessing the Saskatchewan Party has a voter for life in Caden Ratzliff.
Kim, you always have a friendly greeting for staff and students in the building, and you are the most likely to say hi to a new student who comes in, and you always make them feel welcome. All the best.
Chris Sander. Chris came to us from Beachy a few years ago and found a place to belong. And he's a blessing to have around in a snowstorm because he's quick with a shovel. Best of luck next year at Briarcrest.
Snap, David.
Snap, David. David. Honestly, David.
Mason Seaboyer. Mason, your hair is the envy of every girl in school. And in grade 11, during the SRC's 12 Days of Christmas, you brought Santa Claus to life for me and many others. But what has really impressed us is that you are genuinely one of the nicest human beings ever to walk the halls of this school. You will be missed.
Dylan, you've always produced high quality work and you've gone above and beyond what's expected every time. You have a immense amount of energy and I hope that you can put that to good use in whatever you do.
Andrew Spence. Andrew has sported some amazing Duck Dynasty level facial hair and tries to exude an authentic redneck vibe. So you may be surprised to learn that he has an intellectual side. In fact, his enthusiasm for existential literature is so passionate that he spent 2 years doing an in-depth study of Waiting for Godot.
Aurora, I appreciate your love for horses and cats as well as your dedication to your math and science courses over the last few years.
Mading. This gentle giant has entertained us on the basketball court with his dope skills and in the classroom with his perfectly timed, witty remarks. The man is funny. He may have arrived late, but it was always worth the wait.
Kale Wilton, I have never seen someone with such a passion for hating Stuart Little. You have great taste in music in my opinion, and I'm excited that you've had the opportunity to work in the field that you wish to end up in. All the best.
You've always been a unique class, sometimes a challenging class. This year you stepped up to the plate and were determined to make your graduation memorable. Your fundraising efforts were unprecedented. A huge bottle drive with all hands on deck, a cakewalk at the carnival, the haunted house, and a delightful Christmas dance.
Various individuals took the lead in different projects, but then COVID-19 arrived, and your grad has become memorable for reasons you did not anticipate.
But you persevered and adapted. And today we celebrate all of your contributions to our school and our communities, and we wish each of you success in the future.
Congratulations to the class of 2020.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Good evening. Hello. I hope everyone's doing okay. This is obviously pre-recorded, so I sure hope the weather has cooperated today. Congratulations, you guys. It's been quite a journey, and I'm very proud of all of you. I'm so glad so many of you took the opportunity today to come together and celebrate as a group. That means a lot to me, and I know it means a lot to your families, and it means a lot to your friends. So well done, you guys. I was trying to think about what kind of advice I could give, or what should a principal's address sound like, given the circumstances that we're currently going through. You guys know me very well. You know I'm not that bright, so I don't have a lot of strong advice to give. But something I do like to do is tell stories. And so if it's okay with you, I'd like to share a little story. I walked into the staff room, just as I had countless times before. Until that point, it was just another day at school, and I was excited to check my mailbox and head off to my classroom and get all set up for the grade 4 students who would be rolling in soon. My wife and I had been living in the Cayman Islands for a little over 2 years. Me working at a private school, my wife nursing at one of the island's larger hospitals. The date was Tuesday, September 8th, 2004, and it was the day that changed everything. You see, for days, we had been watching a storm forming off the west coast of Africa, and as it slowly crawled across the Atlantic Ocean, we knew that if it slid north off of Puerto Rico, we'd be fine. It went south. The shift towards the equator signaled that we were in trouble, and all of the projections had this storm that had grown into a monster bearing right down upon us. We needed to shift into preparation mode. The small island of 45,000 people knew this was serious, and everything stopped as people began to fly off the island or board up their homes to hopefully hold the winds and the water at bay. Being a prairie boy, I figured a bit of masking tape or duct tape on the windows would suffice. Boy, was I wrong. The days seemed to fly by in a blur as we began to gather supplies and get settled into the shelters where we would be staying. I moved into a new wing of our school that was under construction, but nearly complete, while my wife stayed at the hospital as an essential service provider. And we waited. Ivan arrived on Saturday, September 12th, as the initial bands of wind and rain swept across the island. It wasn't too worrisome, and the group I had moved in with continued to play board games, read books, and move around outside on the field beside the school. During the day, the bands of wind and rain pelted us with an increasing frequency and ferocity. The air began to cool off quickly, and as the power began to flutter off and on, we knew Ivan was upon us. We closed up the building, and we held on. Now, I've been witness to the power of tornadoes and plow winds. I've seen blizzards and Saskatchewan downpours, but nothing could have ever prepared me for the force of Ivan. He started battering us with wicked winds, causing debris to fly through the air. Rain fell in sheets until we could barely see the palm trees bowing down to his unrelenting power. The bands had stopped, and we were now in his grip as the wind screamed, threatening to tear the roof off of our haven. It was impossible to look away. And as night fell, the non-stop lightning allowed us glimpses of the rising water. You see, Ivan did not only bring us wind and rain, he brought with him a 10-foot sea surge that slowly began to engulf the island. I watched as my car was slowly swallowed up by the ocean, and panic began to set into the group as we did not know how high the water level would rise. We made our way to the second floor of the school, the part of the new building that was not yet complete. We were surrounded by bare concrete, exposed wires, and loose insulation. We huddled together in one room, crowded and scared. Kids were crying, people were praying, and me, looking through the window, I was struck by the carnage outside. We were held captive by Ivan for 60 hours. And for 7 of those hours, the wind raged at over 100 miles per hour. It took over 2 days for the seawater to subside from the island, but eventually we emerged from our hiding place to assess the damage. The sights and smells of the aftermath of a hurricane cannot be described. It was too much for me to take. Not too long after this, my wife and I returned back to Saskatchewan, where we've lived ever since. Now, I share this story because I feel there are many parallels between what we endured in 2004 and what we're experiencing right now. We are in the midst of a global pandemic. We are not sure how this will end, and we are unsure of the total damage that will be left in its wake. For months after the hurricane, I struggled with nightmares, and to this day, I still have the occasional dream about returning to the Cayman Islands, a place that I never got to say goodbye to on my own terms. And we wonder, how will COVID end? When will it end? What will the long-term effects be? Nobody knows for sure. So what does a person do in the face of adversity? Because you have been dealt this hand, not by choice, but it's yours. You've had a moment snatched from you. And like Ivan, COVID gave you no chance, and it gave you no choice. But this isn't the first time your metal's been tested. One of my least favorite sayings about graduation and about the grads is that you are now entering the real world. And I apologize if people have been using that in their speeches, but I'm going to tell you why I don't really like that term. You've already been living in the real world. To say that you haven't is to say you haven't experienced happiness and sadness, that you don't know what it means to love and lose, that you don't understand that life can be cruel, and yet at the same time, there is nothing better than waking up every morning to welcome a new day. You graduate today, and just like every tomorrow that you've ever known, tomorrow will come, and you will be there ready to meet it. One of my favorite quotes goes like this: "A man never stands in the same river twice, for it's not the same river, and he is not the same man." Now, of course, that applies to both men and women, but you have to remember that way back when this philosopher said this, that's how they talked back then. So what does that mean? Well, it's obvious that the river is never the same, for it flows endlessly. But what about us? He says we're not the same person. That's what stands out to me, and that's what gives me hope. Yes, the world will change, and yes, it will challenge us every day. But it's our choice to how we react to those challenges. We can let them defeat us, or we can use them to grow. There have been many lows for me during this time away from school. I admit I've broken down in moments of rage, in times of tears, but I've also grown a lot during this time, and so have you. You have had to face challenges no other grad class has had to deal with. You've had those experiences, and you've grown in ways you will not even see yet, but in time, you will see. So that's my message. Know that life is full of adversity, and it will be these tough times that strengthen you. And just like when I looked out at the teeth of Hurricane Ivan, I knew I wasn't alone. You're not alone either. You have people with you tonight. Just pause for a moment. Look at those who are with you right now. Look at them. Look at your mom, look at your dad, your siblings. Look at who's with you. They love you. They always have. And you need to know that they always will. There's going to be times when you feel alone, but just know you're not alone. Remember what has helped you become you. You are a product of an incredible community, a community that I feel truly blessed to be a part of. You've been influenced by the activities and clubs that flourish in Waldheim and Laird. You've been embraced by the churches and those people who may not be your family, but are your community. They're a part of you, and you are part of them. Celebrate that. Your journey may take you far from these towns, but always remember to carry their flags high and with pride. Be proud of your community. They're proud of you. My wish for you is that you discover and follow the path that is there for you. Find joy in what life brings you, and try your very best every day to bring joy to others. Well, class of 2020, we met during period 2 of my very first day at Waldheim School. I was your phys ed teacher, and you were a group of grade 9s that were standing in the river of life. You were not the same group that you were the year before, and you are not the same group today. You have grown, you've matured, and you are ready to keep on living in the real world, just as you have been all along. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your journey. Thank you for making me a better leader and a better person. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and please be safe. Thanks, everyone.
Well, I see by the clock on a wall that it's time to bid you one and all goodbye. Goodbye. So long. So long. Farewell. Farewell. Adieu. Adieu. Be